Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we're going to be making this really cool sky pirate ship. Let's get started. We're going to go into edit mode and I'll go to 3 on my number pad to grab the front face. And I'm going to G to grab an X. I'm going to bring this out. And then I'm going to go 2 and grab the edge, grab X, bring this out. I'm just going to bring that forward. So I'll grab this. I'll make it a little bit longer. There we go. Back a little bit. And then 2, I'm going to grab this one and grab it forward just a little bit to get that basic shape. I'm going to go Control R, do a loop cut right down the middle. And with this loop cut, what I'm going to do is go to Edge mode with 2, G to grab an X, bring it forward. And back here, we'll do the same thing, G and X, but not as much. We're going to go Control R, do a loop cut right down the middle here. I'm going to grab these 2 edges and G and X and bring them back a bit. Grab these 2, G and X, and bring it back. Grab these 2, and I will scale Y and push them in. I'll X on these guys as well, just to keep the same kind of basic shape. Here and expand them out a little bit. SY. Probably should do these guys too a little bit. They don't look quite right. So SY 3. Grab these. We're going to hit I to inset and go in a bit, like so, and then E, and we'll go down. Hit S to scale. I'm going to go Control R, do 1 cut here. I want to straighten it up. So I'm going to SX0 to scale 0 on the X. And then I'm going to split this. So there's 2 parallel cuts. So I'm going to go Control B, which bevels. And I'll move my mouse. And there we go. We'll get a little bevel. Come over here, click SX0. Control B to, actually I'll do the other one as well. Control R, SX0. Alt Shift and click that. Control B. So I might Control R right here and Control R right here. So I'm going to hit I to inset, go in a little bit on all of them. And then we're going to hit E and we'll just go up like that. Add a subdivision surface and a bevel modifier to this. First I'll add the bevel. And we're going to set the bevel to, we'll keep it at offset. We're going to go to the limit method to weight. And I'll go into edit mode and I'll select this group here and I'll open up the side, go to item, and I want to go for the bevel weight. Yep. And I'm going to turn that up to 1 for all those guys so that they get a bevel. Do the same for the inner section here. Bevel weight. The way this works basically is you can go in to edit mode. If you select any edge and change this bevel weight to some number between 0 and 1, the bevel modifier looks for that, and those are the only edges it will try and bevel. So it's kind of a way to be very specific with your bevels. These as well. And I'll do their mean bevel weight up like this inner group as well. So I'll do my mean bevel weight on all those to 1. I'm going to set my segments to 2. And then I'm going to add on a subdivision surface right here at the bottom. Oh yeah, we'll have to do a bit more because those go circular. I'm going to right click Shade Auto Smooth. I'll just shade smooth. Get a better result, I think. Okay, so to fix this, what we have to do is we also need to bevel these guys. That's right, we'll need to bevel what? This group too, is that right? And these guys? On this. That, and then I'll grab all these guys and let's just go E and S, scale out. Don't want that to be beveled. Or, yep, let's get that. I keep the front one. Maybe I want the front one on all these. We want to bevel it. Make it flat like that. And then E and S. Yeah, that's cool. Take this and E to extrude. Move it out, move it up. Shift right click to put my cursor on the surface. And then Shift A, Mesh, Cube. Scale it down, grab Z, bring it up. Grab Z, scale Z, scale X, like that. And then I'll just create a little roof. So let's see, ES go out, and then EZ come up. Shift D, X, come back. And then Shift D, grab X, let's come back. Scale Y on this one. Add some bevel. Shift A, mesh cylinder. Now, let's go down a bit with this. And then I'm going to inset, go in, up pretty high. Z, bring it down. The cross beams, Shift A, mesh. With the cross beams, I think what I'm going to do is grab a cylinder, rotate X 90 degrees, go into edit mode, scale it down, scale it up on the Y, grab Y, what do I want to do here? Let's go median point, scale Y, that's what I wanted. Back, so Shift D, come up. Cool, there we go. So I'll grab one of these, Shift D, and then I might rotate X a little bit like that. And rotate Z, bring it around, grab Z, grab Y, bring it out like that. And then Shift D, bring it down, rotate. I'm just going to go mesh plane. Bring it forward, bring it up, rotate X 90. And I'll just get rid of this vertex right here. I'll dissolve that. It gives me the triangle. Pull this one up a bit so it's more the right shape. Line it up. There's a bit of like curve and wobble to it, so let's add a subdivision surface. And I'll turn it up a bit, actually to like 4 or something. I'll set it to simple so it doesn't change the shape. And then I'll add a displacement modifier. And I'll click new to create a new texture. Go to the texture tab. We're going to switch it to clouds. I should bump this up so you guys can see. Make sure I don't lose you. And then let's see, with these clouds, we could take the size way up. I'm going to right click, shade smooth. Might go even bigger. Take it to 4. And I might Shift A, create just an empty in the center of my scene here. And I'll use that as the coordinate. So I'll set this to object. I'll grab the empty. There we go. So now wherever this moves, it's going to wobble. So now I can Shift D, grab X, grab Z. So I might Shift D, bring one up, zero out all these rotations. And then go into edit mode. Grab these 2 vertexes and then hit F3 subdivide. I'll put a new vertex right there. Then I can grab X and bring it down, and grab Y, Control R, and roll my mouse wheel a couple of times. Now take this group, grab X, grab Z, and remember we've got the subdivision surface, so it's going to do some work for us. Let's see. We might set this one to Campbell Clark so it actually rounds things. And this one we're going to grab X, grab Z. I think we need a different texture for these guys. I'm going to pop down here to the, actually no, up here, I'm going to click on the 4 here. So create a new texture for this guy. And I can make this one smaller. I think that'll give us a better result. We can do a bit more with it. Right, so I'm going to Shift D, grab Z, come over here, and I'm just going to go Shift S, cursor just selected, just to get my cursor right there at the top of that guy. And then what I'm going to do is I will create a Shift A. I could just do a path. We could just do a path. Why not? And then I could delete all the verts except for one. Shift S, selection to cursor. And then I could go E, bring this up here. And I want to connect that to what? This bit. Cursor to selected. And then come here, Shift S, selection to cursor. Go. And then E and Z, X. So I might this, grab one of these, cursor to selected. E, S, and selection to cursor. There we go. So what we'll do for that is we'll create a plane, rotate X 90 degrees, grab X, grab Z. I'll turn snapping off. Go into edit mode, go to edge mode, grab Z, come all the way up to the top like this, scale that right down. Cool. And then all we got to do with this is Control R, do a bunch of loop cuts this way. And then Control R, do a bunch of loop cuts this way. That. Then what we can do is go to vertex mode, deselect that center row, and then we can turn on proportional editing, or maybe not. But anyways, if we grab Z on the local, or even better on the normal, I think. So grab Y just a little bit. All these guys will sag. I'm going to add a wireframe modifier, and that should be good enough. All right, cool. So default cube, CG Matter. Really great tutorial on making rope. So I'm going to link that in the description, and I'm just going to straight up copy this method to make our rope. Okay, so I've just created another curve over here, just a path, just like the ones that we've got. And I'm going to add a geometry nodes modifier. And what we're going to do is click new to create a new geometry nodes modifier system. I'm just going to expand this out a little bit so we've got some more room. And what we want to do is first we're going to create some geometry on this. So we need to add the curve to mesh modifier. Drop this here, and then we need to get a profile curve, which is going to be the curve circle. Drop that there. Put this in the profile curve. I'm going to take the radius right down so it's nice and small, and I'll bring this over here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to get a transform geometry node, and we're going to take this right here, and we're going to pop this into this, and then I'll just bring this over here. We can see it. So here's the circle that we're using to loft across the curve. And what we can do with this is we can create a join geometry node. And we're going to have two of these. We're going to have the original one and then this one right here. So I'll plug this into our output so we can view it. And what I want to do is take this one and just move it over a little bit. Now I'm going to move it over a sort of a certain amount because I want to get the origin to be right in the middle, because that's how this whole thing works, is we're going to twist these two shapes around the base curve. So we need the origin to be right in the middle so these guys rotate around that middle. So in order to do that, we need to have two transform geometry nodes, and they need to basically equal a similar amount. So if I take this down, right, it's going to be half of this number roughly, right? Is what's going to move it back into that position. So I'm going to grab a value node. Let's start with the value node. We're going to set this to 0.03. I'm going to create a math node. Drop this here. We're going to divide by 2. And that will be the number for this one. And then we need to turn these both into vectors. So we come over here, create combine x, y, z, and we will take this one and we're going to pop it into the x, and then we'll take this here, and then we'll make another one, pop this into the x, and put this one here. And that should put it in the same spot, which it hasn't. Negative 0.5. Okay, so let's multiply by negative point. That's right, because we have to go in the opposite direction. It's just dividing. It's not going to give it to us. Right. So we're going to set this to multiply, do negative 0.5. That'll half it and make it negative, so it's going back. So now we can just change this number to change how far apart these things go. So 0.03 is good. We could also use this to kind of dynamically control the radius as well, because you see they match. So I could just plug this into the radius. That way, if this gets bigger, they're going to kind of stay in sync. So that's cool. I think that works. All right. So now what we want to do is we're going to use this as the profile curve. So let's plug that in here and then plug this in here. Okay. So now we've got these two curves side by side. Pull this out over here. Okay. Now we need to do some twisting. So we're going to grab a, see what's it called? Tilt, curve tilt. The curve tilt is what we want, but we want to set the we want to set the curve tilt. There we go. So we'll drop this here because we're going to tilt the curve. That's just the path, right? That's what we're going to be basically twisting. And then it will cause those profile circles to twist around that center curve that everything's based on. You can see as I do this, they're going to rotate around. So we need to rotate differently based on where we are in the length. So we want to use spline parameter and we want to use the index into the tilt. Now, as we subdivide it, it's going to increase the tilt because there's more points. So that means there's more indexes because each point gets its own index. And the higher those numbers go, the more twists we're going to get from this tilt. Now, the only problem is we're using the subdivision curve. So if I extrude this and it's a bit shorter than the others, we're getting a really bunched up section, and that's going to create some weird like looks to everything. So we need to affect that a little bit. So instead of using the subdivide curve, what we actually need to do is use the resample curve, and we're going to resample based on the length. And now we can set this really low or really high. So default cube did a cool technique where it was a low length here. Set this to really low value and then increase this. So go math, drop this on the index, and we're going to multiply and expand this down. So the smaller that goes, or probably easier if we divide so we can have bigger numbers. So we can just expand that out till we get the right kind of length. All right, so now we've got a rope generator. We can call this rope. And it's not too hard to do rope gen curves and then have another one called rope gen geo. And on the geo one, what we can do is just go for a mesh to curve. There we go. So this particular one, we want to switch over to the curve one. Okay. So what we can do is we can grab all the curves like this, and then we can shift select this one last. All right. Or we can add the geometry nodes modifier, add the rope gen curves, and then we could say F3. No, we can actually click the little drop down and then copy to selected, and that will copy the rope to all these guys. Cool. Now we can adjust the parameters based on the scale of our actual scene. And then this one, if I get rid of the wireframe modifier, we can add the geometry nodes system and put on the geo one. And yeah, it's going to automatically work. Cool. Draw this stuff. So I could just go Shift A, curve, Bezier, and then go into edit mode and delete all those verts, right? So we don't have any verts in this one. Let's add the GeoNodes rope gen curves. Oh, that's right. This one. Draw, and then stuff like that is going to give us what we want. But I want to draw on the surface. There we go, surface. Bingo. Cool. Also do some cool knots and stuff up here. This guy's out a bit, so they're not intersecting so much. Back into this. I might stop. I might stop here. We'll see what it looks like as we render it. Maybe we grab these like that, and we inset the whole lot like this, and then we inset again, but very tiny. And then E, and then just go in like this and down. Scale Z as well. And then E, grab X ever so slightly. Now I've got these two like spaces where you can put like jets and stuff. Cool. We can go ahead and make those. Let's go for a cylinder. Grab Z, bring it over. X, and with these what we can do is just come here, scale this bit up, Control R, loop cut, Control B to bevel, pull that out, and then E and S, Shift Z to turn off Z scaling. Come out like that, go like this, hit I to inset, go in, E, and go down, scale it in like this, and that should work. Right click, shade auto smooth. Rotate Y 90 degrees, scale it down, grab Y, grab X. Let's go for Shift A mesh cube and Z. Put our cursor way up high. So scale it down, grab X and scale Y. Grab Z, scale X. Go into edit mode, just grab that end, grab Y, bring it right out. And think I am going to Control R, create a bunch of loop cuts. Control B, bevel those loop cuts. And then E, S, Shift Y. Don't want to go out on the Y. And I want something kind of like this. So I might Shift D, bring this around, rotate, rotate. So Control P to parent. And then I can take this and I can rotate it down. All right, let's get a camera. Jump into the camera that already exists. We managed to do this without deleting anything in the default scene. That's pretty impressive. And I'm going to switch over to rendered view. We're going to work with Eevee. I'm going to turn off scene world so that I've got a built-in HDRI. And let's see, which ones do we have? I kind of want a sunsetty feeling one, so maybe that one. I'm going to turn on ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections, and that's all pretty good. So now we're going to switch over to the shader editor. And we're going to add some shaders to this. Now, I've prepared a texture beforehand. This is the one that I've downloaded off of pexels.com. Just got a wooden plank shader, or wooden plank image, and I've taken it into Photoshop and tried to tile it a bit and get it working. So we'll use that for the hull. So I'll come over here, and I'm going to call this hull. And I don't think we have shaders, anything else? No. Okay. And I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to go Shift A, and we're going to grab an image texture node, and I will open, and I'm going to grab it. Where is it? I've got a couple ones. So there we go, tiled. Plug this into the base color. And then I was also going to Shift D, create a new image node, and open again, and I'm going to grab the normal. And I'll just swap this, make sure it's on the right one. There we go. All right, cool. So I'm going to grab a normal map node, plug the color into the color. I'm also going to turn this from sRGB to non-color, and I'll plug the normal into the normal, and that will give me a bump map. Let's UV unwrap this. I'm going to select all, go U, and I'm going to UV unwrap, try cube projection. Just see how that looks. Let's open up our UV editor. We can have a look at what this is looking like. So I'm going to go up here, UV editor, go into edit mode, select all, and there they are. That's all the pieces. And what I can do with this is I can hit A to select all and scale it up, and that will shrink down. I might grab these guys and put a different material on them. So we've got more of like a metallic backing to this whole area. So let's see, I'm going to go to face mode, and I'll just click one of these loops with Alt and then Control plus to expand that selection. Let's see what it looks like. I'm going to come over here and I will hit click plus to create a new material, click new, and then click assign. And then this one, I'll just turn metallic right up and turn the roughness right down, and then give it like a dark color. How does that actually look? If we make this whole like rudder thing metal, that could be cool. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's keep going. Let's grab these jets. I'm going to click new to create a new material on these guys. Actually, we might just put the same metallic. Now let's do a different metallic. I'll turn metallic all the way up and roughness all the way down. And then I'm going to darken them a little bit, but not much. Go for this like silver look, right? And then in here, we go into edit mode, and I will select this face, click plus to create a new material, click new, assign, and then we're going to turn this into an emission shader by click the surface and just go to the emission, and that will give us an emission shader, and then we can brighten that thing up, give it maybe like a, I don't know, maybe a blue color, like it's some kind of ion jet. So I'm just going to shift select all of them. I'm going to come down and click new to create a new material, call this sail, and then drop down copy material to selected. Now the sail, what do we want for this? Turn the roughness right up, and we want these guys, let's see, probably like a yellowish color, brighten them up a touch. So at the end of the chain here for this one, we need to have a set material node. Drop that there. And we're going to grab rope. And then we want to do the same thing for the curve objects. Let's grab the curves, set material, drop that there. We're going to select rope. Cool. All right, now with the rope, we're going to go back to the shader editor, give it kind of a ropey color. We're going to see this up close, so not too worried about it. Might make it kind of reflective so we get lots of little pings and stuff. Let's put something onto these guys. Let's add maybe the metallic shader. Well, thanks so much for watching. Hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out the Patreon where you can get this project file if you join this month or next month. That's limited time only, so jump in while you can. You can also get the full uncut version of this tutorial if you join on YouTube or you join over on Patreon. And that's a great way to get a lot of extra content. If you enjoy these tutorials, if you want to see how far I go with this one's been going for about 2 hours, so you can see how much gets cut out. But I hope you really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Special thanks to everybody who supports already on Patreon and over on YouTube. Really couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I will catch you in the next tutorial. Until then, see you later.